something, you have to work for it. Again, I moved out to Atlanta 10 years ago with 2 suitcases and $1,500. Not an idea what I was going to do. No family. No, I don't have parents that went to college. I was literally on my own and I had to figure it out. I worked 3 jobs to get through college. Then I got pregnant, so unfortunately I did not finish. But then I was like, wow, instead of sitting here and waiting on government assistance to come and help me take care of me and my kid, what can I do to therefore uplift us and make it so that I have the freedom to raise my child and not worry about money? And that's, of course, when I invested all of my time into Conserve the Culture and grew it into a business that allowed me to take care of my daughter. So I can't go for the complaints. I can't go for the excuses. I can't go for the woe is me. I wholeheartedly agree that if you want something.
Did y'all hear what this woman just said? See, this woman is giving you the blueprint, right? She's giving you the blueprint because she's not pretending to live some type of perfect life. And this is why I want to talk about her, because I'm highlighting that she is an example. She's an example. And the reason why she's an example is because she, like she said, she went to college. She didn't have a lot of money. She had to drop out of school because she got pregnant. And then at the same time, she didn't cry about it. She wasn't a victim. She stood up, she put her big girl panties on, and she made it happen. And now people are trying to comfort this woman because of her beliefs. So it just goes to highlight what I always say is that black culture is trash. And black culture is trash not just because, oh, we just want to crap on black people. No, because you champion and you celebrate the worst kinds of people. But then when people are actually a good example of what you should do, then all of a sudden now you want to tear down and rebuke and go against them. You hate yourselves, and that's the truth. You hate the good. You hate people that can be good and good examples, but you love the darkness.
Bad enough, you are going to work your ass off to get it.
Aaron, independent in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for taking my call. I would like to address my comment to Mrs. Montgomery. If she doesn't know how she's in her current station of life based on resources or housing taxes or just her luck of the draw, I agree, you're not very smart. Thanks for taking my call.
Wait, Aaron. What are you talking about? What do you
see? Ad hominem attacks. Just ad hominem attack instead of just addressing what your gripe is or your disposition or why you're a detractor. You just come in, you just say, "Oh, you're not very smart," and then you just attack her as a person. And that's the problem. You see this with leftists. They always attack the person. Some of them will attack the argument, but most of them will attack the person.
I mean, exactly. Let's sound smarter when we ask the question, please.
Well, yeah, you made a comment earlier when you were living in Nevada and you moved to Atlanta. I don't know if it was my resources in Nevada because I guess they had pretty good school system.
Actually, we don't. Nevada was ranked very low when it comes to education. It just so happened that our government allocates our dollars better. But go ahead.
But initially you said you didn't know if you were smarter, but if you think resources
in regards to how I feel my level of intelligence is in relation to the people that I've met out here.
Yeah, Michaelah, let him finish. Go ahead, Aaron.
I'm sorry for talking while you're interrupting. Well, you go ahead. Carry on.
I think I understand what you're getting. You heard my sentiments earlier in which I said I moved out here, and I don't want to say that I feel like I'm smarter than anybody else, but
that was when I say that, I don't mean, look, I understand she cut him off, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, I'm sorry for talking while you're interrupting. I'm just saying that was kind of sassy.
Was it the resources that were allocated to me? Was it the fact that I got lucky with amazing teachers? Nevada ranks very low on education. So let's not act like, oh, all of a sudden I'm not smart. No, I noticed that even with Nevada being ranked so low in education, I felt like the quality of education that I received was much better than the ones that kids are receiving out here.
Leaving out the property taxes.
Okay, property taxes. Property taxes. So are you telling me that with all the black wealth that exists here in Atlanta, with all the black millionaires that live here in Atlanta, why in the world do 92% of APS students are illiterate? Make it make sense. And we have Democratic mayors, we have Democratic city council members, we have Democratic commissioners.
Nobody wants to talk about that because all these places, like one of the things that my gripe about black culture is that black culture, you guys are, that you're illiterate. You're illiterate. Most of these kids growing up cannot read at their grade level. They reading like 2 and 3 grade levels below, let alone at their grade level. Y'all remember back in the days when there was educational program and constructive programming on TV that was actually teaching kids? You know what I mean? Like where kids felt good to get that report that they were reading several grade levels above where they were supposed to be. Now these kids are illiterate. Did y'all see that clip of T.I.'s son when he was struggling to spell the word tomorrow? And was legit struggling. I'm just saying, questions that need answers. That's all I'm saying.
And for whatever reason, 92% of the kids here cannot read. That statistic did not exist in Nevada. So again, I don't know if it was the fact that I got lucky. I can't say that, oh my God, it's the teachers that suck out here. I would never demean our educators here in Atlanta. But what we can acknowledge is the numbers, sir. And so while you want to call me not smart, please tell me what your side has done to fix the illiteracy rate that we see in our black children. Absolutely nothing. And in fact, not only have they not done anything to address the illiteracy issue, but then they're further confusing their kids by confusing your kids by telling them that men can give birth, by telling them that there's 53 genders, and that by telling them that your love for your best friend must mean that you are gay, you are a pansexual, asexual. Kids under the age of anything high school should not be thinking anything sexual, period. Sexual should...
Now, she went off. she went off, and that's the truth. I agree with 95% of everything that she's saying. I think that in fairness, I think that the conversation should probably start when the kid is puberty, not just saying high school. Kids develop differently. I'm just saying. So I think that those conversations should start at puberty because, that's when you're going to start experiencing the hormones. That's when you're going to start experiencing the change. Now, when that is, I know I've heard reports and studies that's happening sooner now. I'm not talking about that, but the idea of pushing sexuality on people and exploring sexuality in depth, I do generally agree that should not be taught to kids. When I say kids, I mean that should be. I would personally say like middle school and up. That's personally what I would say. Because they say most people hit puberty around like 12, 13, like, around that age. So that's just my thoughts. I'm just trying to be balanced.
Not even be in their vocabulary. So for you to say that I'm not smart because I'm willing to call out all of the degeneracy that exists within our current education system only points to your lack of intelligence and your lack of initiative to actually do something in regards to saving our children and saving our schools.
All right, let's talk.
And see, the problem is when you come hostile like that, you open yourself up to that type of rebuttal. So like I said, salute to her because she killing it. She's killing it.
To Sam in Rome, Georgia, Democrat. Hi, Sam.
Hi, good morning. And I have a question I want to ask her first. And then if you will indulge me, I do have a comment I'd like to make after I hear her answer to my question.
Sure, go ahead.
And before we get into it, too, remember she did all that complaining about the lack of education, but we also have a Republican governor here who had a hand in that as well. So it goes both ways. But anyway, I want to ask her, she touts herself as a smart person, so let's test it. What is the mitigating factor that made the Democratic South turn over to the Republican Party? And I'm waiting for your answer.
What made the Democratic South turn over to the Republican Party?
What is the mitigating?
I don't know what answer you're looking for, and I wouldn't know how to answer that. But I can say, again, I only speak to my personal experiences, sir. So for people to question my intelligence as if my life is somehow invalid is very interesting to me.
So Sam, go ahead with your point.
Yes, please.
I believe you're talking about the Civil Rights Act.
The answer to the question is the Civil Rights Act.
The same Civil Rights Act that was authored by Republicans? Okay.
Can I finish, please? Mm-hmm. Okay. The act that gave you the right to sit in the chair that you're sitting in right now and vote. people in the city that you just moved into 10 years ago died for that cause. There are people still fighting for that same cause as
In
we
America?
speak. That in America, they were in the southern part of this state to which I live and I love. They caught people trying to fake the electors in this state in the Republican Party.
We also caught illegals with IDs and trying to vote, but I guess we won't acknowledge that.
If you will look at the history, to which I'm sure you claim to know or you do know, the history of your state, you should be aware that people have died for the cause to vote. And now the people that
also died for the cause for us to read.
Hold on, Kayla. Let him finish.
May I finish, if it's okay? Your mother should have taught you a little better than to interrupt.
All right, Sam, just go ahead and finish your point.
Thank you.
But the people that have died for this cause are still fighting for the same cause. Now, it's okay if you want to be Republican or Democrat, but not these Republicans. They are of a different ilk. They are of a different structure. They are the same structure that left the Democratic Party to come to the now Republican Party. And that's my comment.
All right,
Thank
Sam.
you.
Go ahead, Kayla.
All right, so let's start with the 1964 Civil Rights Act, or the Voting Rights Act, correct? That was all a ploy by Lyndon B. Johnson to get black people to support the Democratic Party for the next 200 years. And unfortunately, the tactic worked because, much like you heard our caller say, they're still fighting for the right to vote. There's not one American citizen without a felony who does not have the right to vote. All you need is an ID, and you can go vote. He also didn't acknowledge the fact that while he's saying we had fake electors, we also had fake citizens going to vote in our election. So, of course, I guess we just won't talk about election integrity in that sense. Next, the ploy to get black people to vote for them for the next 200 years was a fear tactic because, again, black people then thought that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote. And even though Ronald Reagan came in and didn't take away black people's right to vote, for whatever reason, Democrats...
So nobody's going to talk about the fact that the KKK low-key also influenced that too. Like, we're not going to talk about that. Like, there were black people that were literally threatened. There were black families that were literally threatened out of being Republicans and threatened to vote Democrat. So I mean,
Every election season, get up and talk voter suppression, protect your right to vote. Black people died for the right to vote. Black people also died for the right to read. So I wish a lot of you would please go read the Willie Lynch letters. I wish a lot of you would go read more about Jim Crow and how, the systems were set up to basically make us believe that we were victims for the rest of our life. So now let's talk about the migrant issue and how it relates to the 1964 Voting Rights Act, correct? The Voting Rights Act was put in place so that black people would be a loyal Democratic voting base. Black people are now leaving the Democratic Party.
Wait. Kayla, you're saying that the only reason the Civil Rights Act was passed was her votes?
No. The major portion of said legislation was the fact that it gave black people the right to vote, right? And Democrats touted the fact that they gave black people the right to vote. They then used fear-mongering to make black people believe that if they did not vote Democrat, they would lose their right to vote and whatever other rights and resources that were granted to them by these Democrats, correct? Now that you see black people leaving the Democratic Party, now that you see black people calling out the Democratic Party, now that you see black people tired of living in the same conditions that they were in when the bill was signed, they no longer have that loyal voting base. So you know what they're doing now? Now they're opening the borders. They're letting these migrants in. They're giving them these welcome packages full of food stamps.
She's very good at illustrating and eloquating her point. You know what I mean? Like, she is. Yeah, she's good.
Dave in Kemmerer, Wyoming, Republican. Hi, Dave.
Oh. Yeah, my question is, I just want to tell her she's doing a fine job on air. Tell us how what's going on in this world, and I agree with her wholeheartedly. I appreciate her as a young woman and her knowledge of everything she does.
Like I said, she's good.
Yes. First, I'd like to know why she feels she has to smirk, neck roll, eye roll, and insult everybody that calls her, speaking over them. First of all,
Now, they call in, they pretty feisty with her. I'm just saying.
Is not that knowledgeable. She has not had experiences that other people have not had and not come out bitter and turning on people who helped her. She's like the proverbial crab in a barrel who pulls down any crab above her.
Well,
that's
Jill,
moving on.
do you have a specific question for Kayla?
Yes, did she set up the Chick-fil-A Trump event?
Is that the question? The answer to the
Yeah.
question is no. I actually just got invited to meet President Trump at a restaurant, and I found out the next morning that it was Chick-fil-A, and nobody that wanted to meet him was offended by the fact that it was a Chick-fil-A, and neither was I. But to go back to the, I don't know why she smirked, why she neck rolls, while she talks over people. It's okay for you guys to get on here and call me an Uncle Tom, to call me not smart, to call me dumb, to say I haven't done my research, to say I haven't lived a life like you. But then if I smirk, if I laugh, oh my God, what is this person talking about? Now all of a sudden you're offended. I think that's very interesting. Next, to say that I'm a crab in a barrel and I'm pulling people down. Actually, how could I be pulling people down if I was in the bottom of the barrel with the rest of you crabs and I decided to crawl out? And now here I am calling out
Oh no, oh boy. Oh boy.
discrepancies that I've seen in the Democratic Party and asking you, why is the hood still the hood? The hood was the hood when you were a child. The hood is still the hood now that I have a child. That's 3 generations in which the Democrats have done nothing to help you. So it sounds more like you're the crab at the bottom of the barrel trying to keep everybody down there. And I'm the crab that crawled out and I'm saying, hey, let's get back to the beach.
Kayla, we've got a...
Oh boy. Oh boy. Boom, mic drop. Oh boy. Like, boom. Whoo. I ain't got nothing to say. No, I'm just playing. I definitely got something to say because I think she's absolutely right. And I think it just shows the hypocrisy of the left because they always love to say, oh, why do you have to do this? And why are you acting like that? You're just going to ignore all the insults and everything that they said about this woman beforehand. But then when she retorts or when she matches the energy, oh, now y'all feel away. That's insane to me. It's insane to me. And I think that what she said is the very key of why black folks hate to see black folks that are conservative, because that's exactly what they do. Instead of they're not crabs in a barrel. They get out of the barrel and then they try to tell you, oh, look, you can get out of the barrel too. You don't have to be a crab in a barrel. But you just, because you're crabs in a barrel, you want to pull them back down with you. So at the end of the day, this woman has basically proved, she proves exactly my point, and that is that black culture hates people that are positive. You hate positive blacks, and that's the truth of the matter. Have a good day, folks.